Hi, I'm LDS in Medium, and thank you so much for tuning in today. I want to try to bring religion and spirituality closer together, and this is what this pod is all about. I will talk about my own thoughts and feelings as I am both LDS and have spiritual gifts, something that I've had my whole life, but I always thought that it was hard to combine these gifts with my religion. This has torn me into two directions, and I have talked to many people who feel the same way. I can't choose not to have my spiritual gifts, but I can choose how I use them. And I always want to use them for good and to help others. I believe my heavenly parents gave them to me for a reason. So, this is me. Join my quest for knowledge.
I'm not quite sure where I'm going at. There is so much I have inside of me that wants to come out. I have for the last week been sick with COVID. I started with a fever for 3 days, and then the fever on and off for another 4 days, and then it was coughing and the fatigue. It is a weird disease. Sometimes my feet and my hands would get real cold, and I couldn't feel my lower legs like my calves. The skin didn't feel like it was attached to me, a really weird sensation. And it was hard to eat and drink. I didn't really lose my sense of smell or taste, but it wasn't as good, so in a way it partially went away. I'm glad I never had problems breathing. Coughing, yes, but not breathing. I was in quarantine with my 3 boys, and it was hard being so sick and still having to be a mom. I'm so grateful to my sister who went grocery shopping. Sis, I just want to say thank you from the bottom of my heart. So that was the COVID update. What did it bring to me? I'm still tired, exhausted, and if I go outside for just a little short walk, I'm soaked in cold sweat. So I have to stay home a little bit longer. I've learned how frail health is, and it makes me appreciate the memory of being able to go for long walks in nature so much more. Since the nature is my best battery recharge place, that affects my energy flow too. So what have I done while being sick? Well, I got a new obsession. There is no other way to call it. I know that in the church we really try to stay away from anything that will make us addicted. And I've been trying real much to get rid of my addictions. Not eating candy, not drinking soda, lowering my intake of fast food and stuff like that. But I wasn't ready for something to come into my life and just get me obsessed. I guess I have my dear aunt to thank for this. So thank you, Auntie, for opening up my eyes to a whole new world called K-drama. I have always liked Hallmark movies. Every Christmas I long to see what new movies is coming out. It is 1 hour and 30 minutes of feel-good, and I've been a Hallmark movie junkie. But my aunt started talking about Korean series and movies, and I like, what are you talking about? But over Easter I took 4 days of vacation, and with the holidays it would be 10 days of not working. And I really needed to just relax and recharge. It didn't go as planned. I started with opening Netflix, and I guess the phone must have heard me talking to my aunt about Korean movies, because all of a sudden all my choices on Netflix was K-dramas or movies from Asia. So not knowing what a tremendous impact it would have on me, I browsed through it and ended up with a title called Reunited Worlds. I read about it and thought it might be a good watch and pressed play. Little did I know that decision would get me on a path of addiction and spending the next 10 days watching over 100 hours of K-drama. So now it's out. I'm a K-drama addict. And after watching the first series, I got some actors I really liked, and I looked into what they had done more, which led to another series and another and another. If you have never watched a K-drama in your life, a Hallmark movie is 1.5 hours long, and K-dramas can be from 12 to 25 episodes, some longer, some shorter, and vary between 1 hour and 1 hour and 30 minutes per episode. And I got sucked into a whole new world of everything, and I fell for it hard. I've been trying to analyze for myself what it is that affects me so much that I totally forget about my world and just live through the TV lately. I think having gone through what I have for the past 1.5 years, or maybe even my whole life, not feeling like I fit in anywhere, I've always felt lonely. In these K-dramas, I've never seen men cry like they do there, and even though I know it's acting, it still moves me. I grew up with a dad that was close to tears. Every time he would give a speech in church or feel the spirit, he would start to cry and be moved. And a mother who never cried. I saw her bury her parents and my brother and more family, never even getting watery in her eyes. She just never cried. And then some silly little thing would happen and she would break down sobbing, letting pent-up pain and sorrow from years just erupt. And it was hard for me as a child, understanding the way she dealt with pain and holding everything inside of her until that little drop that just tipped the glass and let everything out. As an adult, I now understand her, but as a child, I didn't see past the vacancy of tears to the pain she held inside of her. So on one hand, I had a dad that would cry for just about anything, and a mom who would never cry. I ended up somewhere in between. I cry when I'm moved and feel the spirit, and I cry to rinse and wash my feelings of hurt and sadness out of my body. I feel refreshed after a long, good cry. My ex-husband wouldn't understand, since he had a hard time showing emotions and hardly ever cried. He couldn't feel the feel of relief that I got from just crying my heart out, and he always got into fix-me mode. If anything was wrong, he wanted to fix it. And sometimes I just wanted to cry, not because anything was wrong, but because I just wanted to get emotional clutter out of the way. I don't know if there is anyone out there like me who cries not because something is wrong, but because after I have cried, I feel lighter and happier. Or maybe it's just me. But this year and a half that has passed since my life changed, I've had a problem crying. I've been afraid to let go of control and just let the pain and sadness and hurt out. Because I have my kids around me 24/7 and I didn't want them to see me lose control. So I've held it in and gone through life one day at a time. Sometimes 1 hour, 1 minute, 1 second at a time. And when it was the worst, 1 breath at a time. So I chose Hallmark movies because they make me feel good and happy, even if it's only for 1 hour and 30 minutes. And even though I know how it will end every time, I still watch it with a smile. But K-dramas, I don't think I have watched an episode yet without starting to cry. I have cried and cried and cried and done even more crying. I've cried because I've been happy or sad or worried, and I've watched them cry, and I especially love watching men cry. I love the way they show their emotions and their vulnerability, and I long for that someone in my life that can cry with me, that can trust me enough to be vulnerable with me, can lean on my strength and make me feel strong and powerful and depended on. That is something that I have never experienced, because I have been broken inside. I have lived my whole life with issues of not feeling enough, not feeling worthy of being loved. So no wonder my husband eventually left me for someone else. That was a defining moment to me. And for the past year and a half, I've tried to answer the questions of who I am. And today, I don't need to be fixed. And if I have an issue, I address it. I don't feel there is anything wrong with me. I am unique and quirky, and I have my ups and downs, but I like me. I genuinely like me. I like my life. I like what I'm doing. I love musing and doing this pod. And I love my kids, and even though I've been sick and felt lonely, and cursed my ex-husband out of my head for leaving me, I would rather be alone and sick and feeling sorry for myself than in a relationship feeling lonely all the time. Because I have realized lately that I like me, my life, my children, my family and my friends. So why yesterday I had a total breakdown and just cried and cried and cried. I watched the final episodes of Descendants of the Sun. If you have seen it, you'll understand what I'm talking about. If you haven't seen it, anyway, I started listening to my new favorite song over and over and over again, and I felt so alone, like I was having the whole world's collective loneliness on my shoulders. So I cried, and my mom called to check up on me, and I just cried on the phone, telling her how lonely I felt. And my wise mom stated to me, "But you have felt that lonely for a long time." And yes, I have felt that for a long time. I felt lonely my whole life, and even though I thought getting married would take that loneliness away, it just showed that even in a marriage to someone you love, it takes two to open up. And if one is closed off, you feel lonely still. I put all my emotions into my kids. I have loved them so much, but now I realize that the key to curing my loneliness doesn't lie within someone else, it lies within me. I need to love myself in order to understand how much I mean to this earth and to the plan of salvation. So, yesterday was a hard day, but no matter how lonely I felt, I bet the Savior felt even more lonely his last few weeks on earth, knowing what would come. And how bad it has been, and I know that COVID has an impact on my health and on my feelings too, I don't feel like I need to be fixed anymore. I feel strong and powerful in my own skin. I feel on top of the world, and I feel I have so much to do and so much to accomplish, and that my life is just starting now. And even though I long for that someone to share my life with, I'm doing absolutely nothing to find him, because I believe that when I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing and following the life path that I'm meant to take, I will find him. And I don't want to have to date around. I'm a one-person kind of person, and I have to believe that my heavenly parents will put him in my path when I'm ready for it. And apparently, being watching K-dramas helps me get in contact with my emotions and helps me sort them out. Where am I? Where I've come from? And where I want to go? And I feel fine. Today, I feel fine. No, I feel more than fine. I feel great. I'm back on track and ready to get better from COVID and get back to work and get on with this pod. And I just want to share something that made me really happy. It was a while since we got 1,000 downloads, and I think that to this day we have like 1,821 downloads. And I appreciate every one of you that has listened to this pod. But when I saw I had 3 downloads from Seoul, South Korea, that just made my day. But no matter where you are in this world, you are sent here to be a light, to share the light, to spread the light, and to shine brightly.
This is my journey. Thank you so much for keeping me company today. Please download, like, share, and subscribe, and help spread the light and spread the word to expand our community. Let's bring more love, peace, and unity to this world. Take care of yourself and your loved ones. Always be grateful, kind, and loving. Be brave and remember to step out of your comfort zone and smile. If you support us on Patreon, you will get access to our meditations and extra materials so you can download them as MP3. Also, we now have a Facebook group, which you can access from our Facebook community. Please answer the questions as you apply to participate. It will be a safe haven where we can keep discussing religion and spirituality, our spiritual gifts, and self-development. Remember, one person can make a difference, but together we can change the world.